Get rolling, folks, shall we? We are recording. That is one of the wonderful things about online education. You don't have to ask the teacher to go back a few slides and have the whole rest of your classmates turn and frown at you or throw their laptops at your head. That's never fun. Uh, No, nobody does that here. But at any rate, it is pretty convenient. We do record these sessions. Say, for example, if you can't attend a live session, um, maybe you got a doctor's appointment, or maybe I don't know, you're working. A lot of us work. Sometimes we're taking online education because we work part time, full time. Maybe we got families, right? Got a bunch of stuff going on, right? A lot of times our part time jobs are more like full time. Anywho, if you can't attend a live session, it's okay. However, a big however there, make sure that you at least watch these recordings. Because like I said, I'm recording right now, and during these sessions are really important because I go over a ton of class material. Like, for example, I'm going to go over the 1.3 and the 1.3 assignments, 1.3, 1.4, sorry, assignment instructions and step-by-step detail. I'm going to show you guys some samples of what to do and how to do it and so on. So it's very, very helpful. Every student who's ever attended these sessions or watched the recordings, they all find it very, very beneficial. So yeah, there is that. So please, if you can't make the live sessions, it's cool. Just remember, make sure you catch the recording. What I do is right after this session ends, I'm going to process the video and then I'll throw it up on YouTube. Sorry, that sounds gross. I won't throw it up. I'll upload it to YouTube. I'll give you guys the link as an announcement, and you can watch it. So it's cool. You can fast forward, pause, rewind, all kind of stuff. Anything you want to do. So that's cool, right? Yeah, and spread the word too. Like if hopefully you guys are getting to know one another through the email or whatever discussion boards. Um, yeah, let people know about these go-to training sessions. Because I don't know about you guys, maybe you read over the instructions and something might be a little foggy. Well, I'm pretty confident that when the session's done, you'll feel a lot better about the assignment and as far as like knowing what to do and so on. Cool. Alrighty. So let's roll on. Okay. All right. So everybody settled in. Feel pretty good. We're gonna get ready to do our first go-to training activity. All right. I had a question recently. What should I call you? A student got a couple of students asking me that. Should I call you professor or um, to be quite honest, and month after month I get this and it's I'm not even kidding, but my students think I sound like Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon. So I get that a lot. People call me Hiccup, and and then I had a student said I sound like a cross between Hiccup and Ferris Bueller. So yeah, I was a little confused at first, but then I had so many students saying that, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to embrace this. So, but you know what? You guys are just go ahead and call me Sir Edward. It's got a nice regal tone to it. I like it. So Sir Edward. No, I'm kidding. My goodness, I'm kidding. Eddie's fine. Just go ahead and call me Eddie. Eddie is quite cool. Anywho, let me see here. Oh, and you may have also wondered also like why do I have everybody muted? It's because it's not because I'm trying to be mean and I'm a big jerk. No, that's not it at all. I assure you. The thing is, everybody is in the classroom. Or we're all over the place. Like some of you guys might be at a Starbucks or a Barnes and Noble, or maybe you're at work, and or maybe you got some Rugrats, in the back. Well, if I had everybody unmuted, it would be a little noisy. So that is why we got the mute button going on. So don't take it personally, please. Yeah, so let's do our go-to training activity. So all I basically need you to do is enter your response in the chat box. So you guys are utilizing the chat box quite well. So here goes, folks. All right, so my question is go-to training activity number 1. Who here has a tattoo? Who has a tattoo and how many? Oh, we got oh man. 7, Allison. We got a good number of students who have tattoos. It's okay. Those of you who are responding as no, they don't, there's still time. I'm kidding. I'm not making a requirement to get a tattoo. Quinn, you got 6. Wow. Now, here's the thing. Maybe it was like this for you guys, but there's something about the magical number 18. Like as soon as you turn 18, and it was kind of like that for me. When that day happened, I called up my best bud, and he's kind of like my cohort. I always call him to to be my sidekick in all my misadventures, and it is addictive, Allison. I got to tell you that it's expensive too. But I called him, and he must have known what was up because he kind of heard my little mischievous giggle going on, and as soon as he heard that, he was like, "All right, let's go." And so he picks me up, and I don't know, but back then, when Eddie was a wee lad, back then, back in the days, tattoo parlors, in order to find a reputable tattoo parlor, you had to drive a good distance, and it wasn't, back in the old days, it was generally in a rough area. At any rate, so we drive out to this tattoo parlor, and we go in, and no lie, the tattoo artists of the time, they were these 6'4", huge Harley Davidson dudes, and by Harley Davidson I mean like, your leather vest jacket, your boots, your long scraggly hair and beard, and sunglasses to boot. Of course, I had to wear the sunglasses indoors. So I walk up to this tattoo artist in the tattoo parlor, and just picture scrawny old Eddie, and I ask him. I'll never forget. I'll ask him this question, and what do you guys think that these guys get asked every single day? What do you think tattoo artists get asked? Who's going to get it? Exactly, Quinn. Quinn got it. Oh my gosh, you guys nailed it. Absolutely. Does it hurt? Yes. They get asked this so many times, and I think he kind of knew. So, because he looked over at his buddy and he kind of grinned and he wanted to laugh, but I could tell he was a businessman. So he composed himself, and he's looking down at me, and I ask him, does it hurt? And he looks down at me, and I'll never forget his response. Now, folks, bear with me. Bear with me. I am terrible at impressions, but I'll try to do the impression as best I can. So he looks down at me and he's like, well, the coloring kind of feels like a cat scratch, and the outline feels like an eagle claw. And I'm thinking to myself, well, yes, I have been scratched by a cat before, but never an eagle. But doesn't sound too bad. All right, hook me up. So I dive right into the tattoo chair. And you know what? It doesn't help, folks, that their little drill device, it makes the same noise as those torture instruments that we often see in horror movies. It sounds exactly the same. And so I don't know what happened, folks, but I think Eddie went to his happy place because I totally zoned out. I don't know. I just totally zoned out. And next thing I know, my buddy's nudging me and he's like, dude, look at your face. And so I look in the mirror and my face is blood red. My face is blood red. I got sweat pouring down my eyebrows. And he's like, should I have him stop? I'm going to get him to stop. And I'm like, it's fine. By that, the pain just kicked in and I was just like in utter agony. I don't care what you say about tattoos. They don't feel pleasant. And so I'm in utter agony. I'm like telling my best friend, it's okay. I don't think he's going to stop even if I beg him to. So 3 hours later, or 3 hours later, yeah, I'm done with the tattoo, and I'm feeling really good about myself. I'm pretty proud. One of my my lifetime achievements at 18. And so I'm feeling good. But you know what? Reality strikes, and I'm thinking, okay, I need to make it home. I need to make it home safely without the family noticing. So next morning, it's cool. Everything's cool. I'm on my way out the door. And keep in mind, I'm wearing a long sleeve black shirt. I'm fully clothed, right? I'm thinking there's no way my mom can see this, right? But you know what? There's something about Latin moms. Anybody have a Latin mom out there? They have like X-ray vision, folks. They have like a sixth sense. I don't know what you call it. I don't know what but anywho, so I'm walking out the door and lo and behold, she's like, what is that? She somehow, with her magical Latin abilities and X-ray vision, noticed my tattoo. And you would have thought that Eddie had killed somebody. You would have thought that I'd murdered somebody because it was absolute chaos in the Tapia house. It was like, oh my gosh, what did you do? You're never going to amount to anything. We're going to have it removed the next day. And it was just absolutely nuts. So, like, I went from feeling pretty good about myself to feeling really quite like nothing terrible. So, so anywho, I don't know, whatever you guys know about tattoos, the removal process doesn't feel any better. It's kind of like they have to hamburger your skin, right? So, you know what? Years and years went by and they've accepted me and they've accepted my tattoo. And, back then tattoos were like very taboo, no pun intended. The not a lot of people had them, but nowadays so many people have them, and people that you wouldn't expect have them, they have them. Doctors, lawyers, PhDs, everybody. Well, not everybody, but you know what I'm saying. Your friends, and the thing is, they're everywhere. Tattoo parlors, they're more often found nowadays than before. But I tell you this story, folks, because I want you to approach creative presentation and presentation public speaking in general as if you were telling a story. Long gone are the days where you're sitting in front of a person who's standing at a podium and all he's doing is just like switching slides and just kind of like belching out facts and statistics and facts after facts. And, there's nothing captivating about that. And what happens with presentations like that is they're forgettable. So I want you to think about creative presentation in terms of telling a story. Every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And generally, when you're telling a story, we got an icebreaker. We're trying to captivate and engage our audience, right? We're trying to engage our audience so that they can remember us. Because people don't remember facts. They'll remember, as far as facts go and statistics, they can remember shocking statistics. That's, we'll remember that. But as far as, your day-to-day facts go, we forget that. But we always remember stories. So think about that. Think about that. It's not a coincidence why this class is called creative presentation. So I want you to be thinking, you came to this school, I think, to be creative. So I'm looking forward to seeing that in your assignments, whether it's this assignment or the assignments to come, when we're building our presentations for the first time. Really be creative, don't hold back. And I'm going to be teaching you guys a lot about that as far as presentations are concerned, and your assigned reading is filled with techniques, presentations, how to build an effective, a memorable, and engaging presentation. So keep that in mind, folks. Now, I'm going to share with you guys a few survival tips. A few survival tips. Now, this is not just for this class, but as far as Full Sail is concerned in general. And one of the main ones, month after month, at the end of each presentation class that I conduct, I always ask the students, what you guys think, and, what was the most challenging. Nobody ever complains about the software programs that they learned or any other technique or concept. They all say the same thing, that time management just got away from them. Because keep in mind, each class at Full Sail, it's 4 weeks long, so you got to be at the top of your game. The deadlines will creep up on you, and you won't even know. You won't even know it. So whatever technique you have, whether it's, anybody see Memento, where he tattooed things all over his arms and chest and back just to remind himself of really important things. Whatever technique it is. Maybe you don't want to go that extreme, but post-it notes all over your house. Just entering things in your smartphone, whatever it takes. Plan in advance, because life happens, folks. You don't want to procrastinate in this program, particularly in an online program. In my opinion, online education is more challenging. It's got a lot of pros, but it's also got its challenges too. And one of those is you got to be self-motivated, self-directed, because I'm not going to be like a campus teacher who's going to say, all right, kids, don't forget that you got to turn in blah, 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 blah. No, so it's on you, right? So you're here hopefully because you want to be here, and once you get that time management beast under control, you're going to find that everything else is so much easier to digest. Anywho, survival tips. Let's check these out, folks. First one is pay attention. We mortals like to think that we can multitask, and we can to some tiny degree, but for the most part, I'm going to be going over a ton of stuff in these sessions, a lot of stuff. And what I don't want to see happen is I don't want you to just sit through the entire session and then miss out on one of the vital tips or one of the vital instructions for the assignment. That tends to happen sometimes. I'll get an assignment, but the student won't complete one important aspect of the assignment. And I'll ask the student, hey, did you check out the go-to session? Did you go? And they'll say, yeah. But, something happened during this session. I don't know if they pressed fast forward or they were trying to multitask, but they missed a vital component of the session. So you want to make sure that you're paying close attention during these sessions, because I do go over a lot. Start your assignments first thing in the week, folks. Give yourself the best chance possible. Best chance, because you know what you don't want to do? You never, ever want to wait until the last minute or the last day to work on an assignment. It's brutal, folks. It is really, really, you don't need that kind of stress in your life. Trust me. Because like I said, I think I'm correct in saying that, a lot of us work, A lot of us have families to support. We got bills to pay. There's a lot going on in our crazy lives, right? So give yourself as much of an edge as possible and start that assignment early in the week. Cool. And I always like to suggest reading over the instructions for the assignment before coming to these sessions. Try to get ahead on your assigned reading and the instructions. That way, when you get to these sessions, everything's going to make a lot more sense. Trust me, it will. So yeah, allow yourself a full week to work on the assignments. Don't start on the weekend, folks. It's procrastination equals bad. Now, you may have already noticed, folks, on your class page, all of your assignments are weighted differently. Some are weighted at 5%, some are 15% of your grade, some are 20% of your grade. Now, here's the thing. Ideally, you want to turn in everything. Try not to miss any assignment at all. Like, maybe one week you're kind of like, God, I'm exhausted. This has been a rotten week. You know what? I don't feel like turning in this assignment. But the problem is you might come to realize afterwards that assignment was 20% of your grade. So that's gonna bruise your average. So you don't want that to happen. So yeah, pay attention to the weighted assignments and just try to get everything in. And reach out to me. Just email me as soon as, like, the second you find things are starting to get a little hairy. Just reach out to me, email me, eathappy@fullsail.com. I'll do my best to help you out. Cool. Cassidy, good question. Actually, when you look at the activities on the Create a Presentation class page, it should indicate what weight each assignment has. It should say there. So yeah, I mean, you don't have to do it this section, but maybe after the session, just give it a look-see. Alrighty, moving right along. And yeah, keep up with the assigned reading. You know what, folks? I can always tell. I can always tell who's reading and who's not reading. The second I open up your assignment, I can tell. So you want to make sure that you're reading. It's the only way to fully grasp what's going on as far as the assignments are concerned. That the assignments are going to make a lot more sense anyway. Cool. That is awesome, folks. That you're already on top of your reading. So just keep it up. You will not regret it. And the cool thing about these books, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but Resonate and Slideology, Nancy Duarte, she approaches presentation in a much in a more unique manner than we're typically used to. We're typically used to the traditional person standing at a podium, very formal in front of an audience with a screen behind him, and he's just got his clicker and it's just kind of like bullet point after bullet point after bullet point. He's not really, or she, they're not really talking to the audience. They're just kind of like talking at the audience. She approaches presentation in a much better, more effective manner, which I'll get to in a bit. So yeah, assign reading, and folks, check your class page a lot. Check your Full Sail email every day. This is really important, especially since now you're in an online degree. This is like the number one way we contact you guys. So you want to make sure you're not missing important emails from your instructor, from your student liaison, from anyone. You just never know. This is the way we contact you guys. Do your best. I would say do your best, Cassidy. As far as the assigned readings go. You should be okay, but I definitely wouldn't wait till like the end of the week to start the assignment. But if you got like a steady steady groove going as far as the assigned reading, you should be in good shape. The first discussion assignment, I'm going to explain that in a bit. It's really straightforward. I don't think you guys will have any problem at all. But yeah, just bear with me. I promise I'll go over that in a bit. That is correct, Ethan. That's totally correct. Ethan said, I think the discussion post is more so about your personal experiences. Yep, that is correct. Thanks, Ethan. Again, I'm going to go over that in a bit. So yeah, check that email. Quick question, folks. How many of you have already spoken with your online student liaisons? Cool. Good. Please make sure you do that. Do not don't brush them off. They're really cool people to know. They have a lot of answers to a lot of things, and they're going to be like your number one cheerleader in your corner, and a great and very valuable asset to have throughout this class. But that's somebody different, Flo. Your OSL, your online student liaison, is going to be somebody different. So yeah, just make sure you reach out to them. That's why I said, check your email. Maybe they sent you an email, and they'll say, I'm your OSL, or I'm your online student liaison. And they're going to call you and just see how you're doing, and if you had any questions or difficulty with anything at all. But yeah, you will not regret, keeping in touch with them. Um, just make sure you do that. Yeah, and if you can't, if they called you and you didn't reach, you weren't able to make contact, their chances are they might have emailed you as well. So that's what they usually do. So I would definitely check your email. Lynda.com. Who knows about Lynda.com? Lynda.com. Full Sail students have free Lynda.com accounts. Now, Lynda.com is, what's the best way I can explain it? It's got a gold mine of high quality video tutorials on just about every topic and software program you can imagine. So let me, for example, who's in music production or recording arts? Anybody studying music production here? All right, we got a couple. Awesome. All right, so you guys will love this. You guys will love this because lynda.com has a ton of video tutorials on Logic Pro, Pro Tools. They have video tutorials on mixing, mastering, all kinds of recording arts tutorials and tips that, what I always like to suggest is don't check it out when you think you're going to need it. You have to have this perspective and this mindset that you need it right now, because you don't want to wait till that class, till the mastering class or the logic class or the mixing class to learn it. You want to learn it now. That way you have an edge. You have that edge, and it's all about having an edge, right, folks? Same thing with anybody who's in graphic design or I think they have. I know they have tutorials on InDesign, Photoshop. Geez, if you're in film, they have Final Cut Pro, Premiere Pro, Final Draft. The point is, they have so many tutorials that you really should just devote some time to checking out. And the cool thing, folks, is that you can actually get like certificates that you can put on your resume, certificates that said that you I can't talk. Sorry, folks. That you checked out their tutorial, that you watched the entire program. So it just says that, okay, yeah, I learned all about Adobe Spark. I watched the Adobe Spark tutorial. So it's very handy. Not to mention there's YouTube. I don't have to tell you guys about YouTube. YouTube is pretty fantastic. YouTube it's like a sea of all kinds of videos, and I know they got a bunch of crap on there as well. But if you kind of sift through the garbage, you can find some gems as well. So there are so many resources out there, folks. Please, please don't forget about the cool resources. Now, I'm going to tell you guys real quick. Lynda.com, the way to access it for free as a Full Sail student. Because if you go onto your internet browser and you type in lynda.com, they're going to try to charge you. So I don't want anybody to pay for it. So the way to access it for free, you go to FS Connect. FS Connect, that's another page that should be your new best friend. FS Connect, go to the Full Sail library, and then in the Full Sail library, you'll see lynda.com. I'll type it out here. FS Connect, FS library, and Lynda's in there. And there you go. That's what you do. That's how you access it for free, folks. So please, please check it out. And yeah, I should have mentioned this from the get-go, but lynda.com has also tons of tutorials on presentation programs. Like maybe it's been a while since you've used Keynote or PowerPoint or Adobe Spark or Prezi. Lynda has got some step-by-step, really super user-friendly tutorials on all those programs. So check it out, folks. All right, so now not to panic. Nobody panic. All right, panic is bad. This is I'm just giving you guys a little heads up as far as what's coming down the road. All right, this slide right here. So week 2, when you're in week 2, you're going to have an assignment that requires you to record your voice for the assignment. It's like a little presentation, and all you have to do is submit a recording, a narrative, like a little presentation. The whole reason why I'm telling you that, I'm not going to give you the details about it because you don't need to worry about the details, but I'm only telling you this so that maybe you can kind of, figure out what you got going on as far as your mic and audio situation. Do you have a microphone? Do you need a microphone? Can you record on your laptop? What kind of device are you using? Does that device have recording capabilities? A lot of students, and I mean a lot of students, they simply use the headphones that came with their smartphones. They have a built-in microphone in there. They use that, and it works just as well. So yeah, again, not to freak anyone out. I'm just kind of giving you guys a little heads up. So maybe after the session, you can see, what's your mic situation. By no means does it mean that you guys have to go out and spend thousands of dollars on a Neumann mic, right? No, We've received very effective presentations with people using their smartphone headset or their gaming console headset, and audio quality was just fine. Just fine. And same thing with week 3. Week 3, you have your first presentation in week 3. You'll be using a program like Keynote or Prezi or PowerPoint, and you'll have to throw in some pictures in there, followed by a narrative. Again, don't freak out. I'm just giving you guys a heads up so that you can, after the session, see what you got going on with that kind of stuff. You should be in good shape then, Ethan. So Audacity, folks. This little picture right here, folks. This is a free online audio program. A lot of students use it in the past. It's kind of like how can I explain it? Kind of like GarageBand. You can record, you can edit, you can import, export, all that kind of stuff. Sorry. It depends, Flo. People do it quite differently. Flo asked, would we narrate each slide? So it really depends on how you go about things. Again, I'm going to go into much more detail about that next week. I don't want you to worry about it now. All right. Don't stress. And Please, if I stress somebody out, about this, I apologize. My thing is, I just want you guys. I don't want anybody to be like scrambling last minute, like I need a microphone, that kind of thing, right? Um, Good tip, Ethan. Very good tip. I think that's a really good tip in general. Ethan said, and I'm just gonna repeat this because um, the thing is, a lot of times the chat box is not recorded for the recording. In other words, when you see the recording online on YouTube, you won't see the chat box here. So I'm just going to repeat what Ethan said because it's a very good tip. Thank you, Ethan. He said a tip for Audacity: record 10 seconds of just silence to obtain a noise profile. Then you can remove noise on every recording. That's a really good idea. For Audacity as well as just in general. Just it's kind of like doing a little test run, check the levels and so on, right? Cool. All right. Everybody good? I'm gonna. How's everybody doing? Need a little stretchy? That's the great thing about these online sessions. You can get up, stretch, drink some coffee. I'm on cup number 3. Thank you very much. Don't judge me. I can quit anytime I want. All right, moving right along. Okay. And another little tip about the weeks to come. So yeah, you're not. In case you were worried, because um, I know a lot of people have anxiety about this class, because public speaking is, let's be honest, it's a quite dreadful concept to be standing in front of a live audience. I don't mean like with a guitar or behind a drum set. I mean at a podium, in front of complete strangers. That could be nerve wracking. It's equivalent to thinking about your mortality. Yeah. But here's the thing: you don't have to stand in front of a live audience in this class. And for our assignments to come, for next week's assignment and week three's presentation, you don't even have to film yourself. You don't have to film yourself. So yeah, that's go ahead and breathe the sigh of relief. Yay! It's all right. Let it out. Let it out, my friend. It's okay. I hear a couple of just little whimpers. It's all right. Jeez, let it out. Hug it out. Hug. All right, I'm just gonna stop being such a big nerd. Who am I kidding? I can't stop. Anywho, all right, who's got their Office 365 set up? Anybody? Yes, Ethan's got it. Cassidy. Okay, won't let me install. Okay, I got a couple people. So here's the thing. All right, first and foremost, if you're having any kind of technical issue with Office 365, please call FSO support. You can call the main full sail number and just ask for FSO support. Ask for FSO support and tell them specifically what's going on. Say you're trying to set up your Office 365 and you can't. Sorry, folks, I had to cough my brains out. I was bit by a walker the other day and things aren't looking too good for me. Sorry. Anyway, I'm a big Walking Dead nerd. I I have to confess. All right, I got a couple other Walking Dead fans, and they all get A pluses. All right, don't get me started for Pete's sake. You get me started about Walking Dead. I could be here for like the next 2 hours talking about how great Rick Grimes is. Anyway, moving right along. So yes, call FSO support if you're having any technical issue. Like say for example you're having problems with your computer, your laptop, whatever, or you can't set up Office 365. Anytime you have any technical issue whatsoever, call FSO support. Because what happens sometimes is a student might have an issue with their computer, and then what'll they do? They'll take their computer to a shop without calling FSO support. They'll take it to a shop, and then what happens is they'll be without a computer for the next 2 weeks. So sometimes it's as easy as just picking up the phone saying, "Hey, this is what's going on. Can you help me out?" And a lot of times FSO support will be able to, navigate you in the right direction. So yeah, give them a call before doing anything else. Cool? Now here's the cool thing about Office 365. Those of you who've explored it or who have not yet, say you don't have Microsoft Word or PowerPoint or Excel, well, now you do. Because Office 365 has those programs, and yeah, it's pretty handy. So and that's not to say that you have to use PowerPoint. Maybe you hate PowerPoint. Um, that's okay. I'm going to talk a lot about other programs that are free. Free is good, right? That are free and also available online. Uh, duh, 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 duh. Is it Latoria? Did I pronounce your name? I'm going to be so mad at myself if I mispronounce your. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I hate mispronouncing names. I feel terrible, but you know what? don't don't feel bad if I mispronounce your name. People butcher my name. I still hear like Eddie Tapioca, Eddie Tilapia, Eddie Topia. I'm like, really? Come on, it's not that hard. So all right, that's why I'm like, all right, just call me Hiccup for Pete's sake. Anywho, you do okay. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. Anyhow, I'm used to it though. So we move right along, folks. So yeah, if you don't have any of those applications, then Office 365 is the way to go. You will definitely want to make sure you set it up. Here's another online free presentation program that a lot of our students use with great success. And it's called Adobe Spark. Oh man, you have to be quick with the mute button in this instructor's chair. So yeah, Adobe Spark, folks. It is free. It is online. It is a presentation program. So this is an option for your week 2 and week 3 assignments. The cool thing, folks, is that you won't need a presentation program for this week's assignment. For your 1.3 discussion assignment, you won't need it. For your 1.4 assignment, you won't need it. Is it free for Full Sail students or free in general? Good question, Ethan. You mean Adobe Spark? I think that's what you mean. Adobe Spark is free in general. So yeah, and it's just type in in your preferred internet browser. Just type in Adobe Spark, and it'll take you right there. Adobe Spark is a presentation program. It's really kind of cool, and it's very user friendly. If I'm not, I think I'm not sure I got your question accurate, but I am going to show you what program is best for the 1.4 assignment. I'm not going to say you can't use PowerPoint or something like that. But I think personally, it's a little bit more practical to use a Word document program for your 1.4 assignment. And the reason I say that is because the 1.4 assignment it's an analysis. It's not really a presentation. Um, Correct, Ethan. That is correct. Ethan said you don't need Adobe Spark for 1.4 this week. All right. Let me also talk about grades, folks. Now, a lot of us, maybe we're straight A students in high school or in middle school, and then we come here and we are devastated when we receive our first B plus or B minus or C plus plus. Right? Here's the thing, folks, that I need everybody to understand. This program is an accelerated program. So you got projects due at the end of every week. Like I said earlier, each course is 4 weeks long. So is it going to be challenging? Absolutely. And I always tell my colleagues, and they tend to agree with me, that your first month class is going to be one of the most challenging classes in your entire full sail degree. And that's true for a couple of reasons. It's true because, first of all, there's a lot going on in your first month. You're learning a new program. You're in a new school. You got assignments due at the end of each week. Not to mention your already crazy lives going on, right? Well, like I said earlier, we got jobs, we got families, we got stuff going on. So it's tough. It is going to be tough. And I'm not going to lie, there will be many scream into pillow moments, as I like to call them. You better have a protective case on your cell phone. I know I do. I'm not saying that I hurl my phone across the room when I'm frustrated, but just in case I do, I have a really good, sturdy case. And the reason I say that is because there's going to be some challenging times, Ed, right? Um, duh, duh, duh. Just want to make sure I'm not missing any important questions. If you asked a question in a chat box and I missed it, please don't. I'm not trying to ignore you. I promise. That the problem is with this chat box is it goes by really fast, and if I missed a question of yours and I didn't get a chance to it, please email me. I'm happy to help out in any shape or form. Um, so yeah, as far as the grades, do not get discouraged if you didn't get an A plus, you didn't get 100, or maybe you got a 95 and you really wanted 100. That all it means all it means is that you may have missed something in the instructions. And that happens a lot. Sometimes we overlook something in the instructions. Doesn't mean you need to throw in the towel. Um, and doesn't mean that you're a failure at all. It just means, yes, this is a tough program. Um, really, Ethan, I don't know. I go through phone cases pretty. My wife is always like, "What do you do to your phones?" I'm like, "Nothing." Uh, maybe sometimes I kind of toss it against a padded surface from time to time. Anywho, stop distracting me. So yeah, as far as what we expect, please stay, keep on top of your assignments. That is the you're gonna give yourself the best chance you can if you do that. And as far as time management, I drilled that enough, and you know what? You're gonna hear me say that a lot all this month. You're gonna hear me talking about time management, but yeah, please reach out to me the second you find yourself, maybe slipping or maybe a little confused on an assignment. Happy to chat because we're here to help. We are here to help. Now, all throughout the month, we're going to be using pictures. We are going to be on the internet a lot, looking for pictures for our assignments, right? Or the interwebs, whatever you want to call it. Now, I got a couple of websites where you can find some copyright-free material. Now, whatever image you use, I always like to encourage you guys to just keep track of where you found them. Now, you could include a little sources section or a citations listed section on your assignment. Maybe you want to do it on the last page of the document or at the very bottom of the document. All I require is that you show me a link, like where you found that image. I don't mean just write down, oh, I found my images on Google. That doesn't tell me a lot. Tell me, at least show me the original link where you found it from, because maybe it's a really cool image, and I'm like, hey, that photographer is really talented. I want to see more of their work. So yeah, that's all I require as far as your sources go. I'm all about giving credit where credit is due. Cool. So here are a couple of places if you want to use some copyright-free images. There is Creative Commons. There's archive.org. Come fight. There's a lot others. There are many others. And if you type in copyright-free images into the Google, you'll see a couple of other sites. I would say stay away from anything that has a watermark on it. You know, like if you find a cool image, but it says in huge a logo print, Shutterbox or something, whatever, I would look for something else. You are going to find that searching for the right image is a lot more challenging than it sounds. You never want to find the first image that pops up. You want to find the best, and that's what creative presentation is all about. Anywho, college level writing. All right, I got to talk about your writing, folks. I'm sorry. I'm a terrible person. I have to talk about your writing. Let's talk about your writing. Now, you're like freaking out, I know, because all throughout the chat box, I've been seeing fragments. I've been seeing, sentences that don't start with capital letter, no periods at the end of the sentence. You know what, folks? It's okay in the chat box. So yeah, keep that in mind. In this chat box, I don't mind if you're writing fragments. I don't mind. Let me show you. I don't mind the lowercase I. Only in this chat box. Now, anything graded, for example, like if you're writing something on the discussion boards, please proofread your work. Avoid using text shorthand. Avoid writing the lowercase I. Yes, right? I would say, any kind of digital communication, whether you're emailing or you're turning in an assignment, a graded assignment, you want to proofread your work. It's just a good habit to get into, and it could mean the difference between like an A and a B assignment. Like if you turn in a really good assignment, but you got all these text writing and shorthand and stuff like that, there will unfortunately be a point deduction. And it's a good habit to remember when you get into your future classes as well. Cool? All right. I know, Jeremy, that's a very good point. I especially hate autocorrect when I'm texting. When I text and when I type in does, DOES, and it types dies, I'm like, really? Come on. That is not what I wanted to say. Thank you very much. Yeah, we should. But I get it, and in this chat box, it's fine. It's fine. Anything graded, if you need to email me, I will say in your emails, especially to your teachers, here's what I don't want to see. Every now and then I'll open up an email. There'll be nothing in the subject field, nothing, just a blank subject heading. And then I open up the email and it says that in all caps with about 10 exclamatory marks, I need help. And that's all. It's not signed. It just says I need help. Yeah, here's the problem with that. It doesn't tell me a lot. It doesn't, I apparently you need help really, really bad, and I want to help you. I want to help you get the help that you need, but I don't know where you need help. So as far as emails are concerned, just open it up with a greeting, hey Eddie or Sir Ed, whatever, um, and let me know exactly what you need help with. Hey, and as far as the 1.3 discussion assignment goes, what did you mean by blah 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 blah? Sincerely, yeah, Carl Grimes, whatever. Exactly, Audrey. Thank you. Be as detailed as possible. The more detailed you can be, the quicker I can be on the reply. Right? It sounds ridiculous. I know you guys are like, those of you who spent a lot of time online on computers, you're rolling your eyes. I know you are. But it happens a lot. We get so comfortable in this world of the matrix, but we forget. We tend to forget. So yeah, just be as detailed as possible. Um, duh, duh, duh. Um, I think that's French, Ethan. But I think it means I need help. I'm guessing. Anywho, yeah, English would be great. Would be fine. Cool. All right. Okay, good. I thought so. Alrighty then. So professionalism, folks. Now you might have already completed the section on it was one of your first activities. You had to read through a series of kind of agreements, like I will do this, I agree to do that. You read over the syllabus, excuse me, and the policy, and it basically states that you agree to conduct yourself in a professional manner when communicating online. You agree to be professional to your classmates and to your instructor. Um, so yeah, that is basically professionalism. Now here's the thing: professionalism, aka global professionalism standards. Now, what that is, every student starts off with 100 GPS points, 100 professionalism points. Now, that can stay at 100 or it can be deducted depending on certain infractions. For example, if you turn an assignment late, you might be deducted points. If you don't turn an assignment at all, you might be deducted points. Um, if you're belligerent in a chat box or inappropriate, say inappropriate things, you could lose points. So, it sounds silly, but this is all as the way that it was derived was the full sail administrative leaders. They met with a lot of industry leaders in the entertainment industry, be it in the music industry and the gaming industry and the graphic design industry. They talk with a lot of their CEOs and they ask them questions like, what do you guys look for in your candidates and in an employee? And they generally said the same thing. We look for high professionalism. We look for a strong work ethic. We look for punctuality, good attitude, and so on. So just that's all stuff that you want to kind of get in the habit of doing. That way, when you graduate, it's nothing new. When you're starting, maybe you're already in your industry, maybe you're already working in that field, but it's a good reminder. It's a good reminder that hey, It's going to work in my favor if I'm professionalism, right? If it's going to work in my favor if I'm cool to my classmates. Because you know what? You never know. You never know that you don't want to get to the point where you're graduating and you're starting your own indie game development company and you need a sound designer and you were in class with an Academy Award winning sound designer, but you know what? You weren't really nice to that person. It happens, unfortunately. I've seen it happen. So, yeah, I always like to, maneuver this industry with a you never know attitude because anything's possible. Anything's possible, right, folks? Anyhow, you get the gist, right? So, as far as resonate and slideology go, these are your assigned reading texts. Now, I mentioned a little bit about it earlier. The reason why they are so cool is Nancy Duarte. She's a born speaker, really, really cool lady. If you haven't already, check out the presentation on TED Talks. One of the things that I discovered from the get-go is that she feels very natural on stage. She's a born speaker. She's very good at it. Um, but what she talks a lot about in slideology and resonate is how to approach a presentation that you're no longer approaching it from a okay, how should I transition from slide to slide? Oh, what kind of animation can I use from slide to slide? Oh, I need bullet points here and so on. No, what she encourages you to use are images, vibrant, evocative images and always be telling a story. Whatever you're talking about, throw a story in there because it's going to become far more memorable than if you just have a presentation riddled with facts and just you guys see you might have already seen a presentation where the slide is just a giant wall of words, right? Just a giant. I'll be the first one to admit I've seen a lot of presentations like that. Just like the entire slide just covered. It's like the presenter they just copy and texted a giant chunk of words. Now, what she does is she discourages that. She says, "Look, you can use color because color evokes different emotions." And we're almost kind of like filmmakers. We're almost like directors and writers because we get to play with our audience's emotions. And that's one thing that she encourages you to do in Resonate and Slideology. Always be thinking creatively. This is where you can do it. This is where it's allowed to do it. Um, cool. Awesome, Cassidy. I am a film music composer. But we should get along just fine. That's cool. So you were in the digital cinematography program, I presume. Cool. Got a couple people in the DC program. Awesome. That is cool. Now, more. I better not bring that up now. I'll bring it up during the 1.4 when I go over that in a bit. All right. So I talked a little bit about that. Now, here is what I want you to do. Now, what you're looking at right now, this, as far as image formatting, as far as when it comes time to format your images within your presentation, this is more along the lines of how we want to do it. Now, notice how I utilize this image. I don't have a lot of words here, but the words that I do have, they pop, they're bold, they're large, right? They're meaningful, they're purposeful. But notice what I did with the image. I filled up the entire slide. There's no background, there's no border showing. It's not to say that borders are bad. Sometimes people can create a very cool customized border. And if that's the case, more power to you if you can do that. But if you're not going to be using a border, you should really be thinking about doing something like this. Fill up the entire slide with that image. That way we get the full impact. That way we really get to appreciate, its color, such as in this picture. Again, I don't have a lot of words here on this slide, but the words I do have, they make an impact. They're large, they're bold, they pop out at you. And notice the nice color in the background. And again, what I did with the image, I filled up the entire slide with this image. Everybody see that? Here's another example. And that's cool too. You can use a different color. The thing I would warn you about, and Nancy Duarte talks about this too, if you do use text on your image, whatever color it is, whatever color font it is, make sure that it doesn't become lost in the background. Because as you can tell, this image has many different colors and shades. So wherever you place that text, whatever color it is, make sure it still pops, make sure you can still read it, right? All right. Activity number 2. All right, check this out, folks. I'm going to read a quote to you. Now, I want you to remember this quote. Remember it. Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. Mr. Socrates said that. I know it's pronounced Socrates. I just like to say Socrates. All right, education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. Now, check this out. Check out what I'm going to do. Everybody see what I did here. Now, here's what I want you to do. It's the same quote, right? The same quote that you saw on the slide earlier. Now, I want you to tell me what kind of mood, what kind of tone does this evoke? Do you think it works? Do you think this pairing of the text of the quote and the image work well together? What kind of mood does it evoke for you? Do you like it? Do you not like it? If so, let me know why. What do you guys think? Remember, if you don't like it, tell me why. Okay. Anybody else? What about the mood? What do you think? What does a mood say to you? Somebody said the mood relates to the quote. It looks like a room full of scholars to me. Well said, Roger. I'm trying to read these quotes. You know how this chat box just flies up. Um, Education is the start of something bright, not something that will do everything for you. Ooh, I like that. Nice. Good one, Ethan. Actually, I told Ethan to write that. That's why he wrote it. I'm kidding. These are good. Ooh. The image doesn't match the message. Okay. All right. The mood of the picture inspires academia. Well said. Yes. Well said. I think some of us like it. Some of us don't like some aspects of it. Think that certain aspects could be tweaked a bit. Yes. These are good responses. Thank you, folks. All right. Check this out. Check this out. Same quote, different image. What do you think? Oh, okay, a lot of us like this better. Same quote, completely different image, yes? What about the mood? What do you think? Is the mood the same? Is it different? Do you like this mood better? Does it, as far as the tone? Different feeling, yeah. Jeremy, this one inspires hope, absolutely. Major, yeah, absolutely. This is a major difference. Who said the mood completely changed? Janelle? Janelle, yes, okay. Yeah, flow, good one. It does inspire hope. Flow is cool. I can say flow, right? Okay, cool. Amir, yes, absolutely. It appeals more to your emotions. And you know what? As a film music composer, that's what I'm going for, and that's what Nancy Duarte encourages you to do when utilizing images and text. Absolutely. Wow, man, these are great. These are great responses. I have to agree. It is a much different feeling than the first one. The juxtaposition is far more different. You know, one thing I like a bunch of things about this image and the pairing. But what I like about this image is I don't necessarily need to know the story of this boy to know that there's a story. Does that make sense? Like I know there is a profound story here. And even though I don't necessarily know it, word for word, I know that there's a story and there's a strong, strong message here. Very, very profound. Very profound. I think it's timeless, and I think a lot of us can relate to it. But I show you this for a couple of reasons. First of all, the power of quotes, how powerful quotes can be during presentations, and the importance of choosing the right image. Finding images for your presentation, like I said earlier, it should be time consuming. You never want to find the first image and say, okay, I'm done. No, no, no. Find the one that's going to really just, first of all, high quality. You never want to choose something that's blurred, right? Second of all, it should be evocative. It should be powerful. It should have emotion. It should tell a story, right? Now, that's not to say that the first image was bad, but I think we can all agree that it definitely had a different mood. Definitely had a different um, feel to it. Tori said, "Can I draw my own images?" You can absolutely draw your own images. If you are gifted, I am, in as far as drawing and art goes, I am jealous. First of all, I can't draw at all. Um, yeah, go for it. That is totally cool. Don't forget to give yourself credit, though. Anytime you include some original work on any kind of presentation, you always want to make sure people know without a shadow of a doubt that that was your work. Cool? That's true also, Heather. Heather said it's a more modern approach. All right. How about this one, folks? Huh? What? Oh boy. Anyone? Those kids on the right look like hooligans. Now, this is a classic from a classic 80s film. Any takers? Anyone know what it's from? Yes, Bill and Ted's. Absolutely. No, 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 not Back to the Future. Totally different. Back to the Future is actually an excellent film. Um, but Bill and Ted's, no, the reason why I'm showing you guys this is yet again, in some ways it works, but and it can match the meaning, but it has a completely different feel to it. Completely, you don't even have to know who Bill and Ted are to. You just take a look at it, and they have these goofy smiles. They're wearing this really odd attire, right? No, 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 no. Homework, Ethan. Your homework is to watch the original Back to the Future, and then the original, the first Bill and Ted's. Totally different. That is nobody else. Just Ethan's homework. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right. Let's roll on. Okay. So let me let's chat a little bit about your homework assignment, shall we? Oh, sorry about the screensaver. You saw nothing. You saw nothing. Amir nailed it. Amir gets another A plus. Yes, I have my students to thank me for introducing me to Naruto, or actually I should pronounce it correctly, Naruto. Um, in next week's assignment, I'm giving spoilers away, and I apologize, but in next week's assignment, next week's I don't want to confuse anybody, but next week's assignment, one of the things you'll have to do is talk about your favorite piece of art, or media, and it could be like anything from the art in Elder Scrolls, or Dead Space, or the art in a video, a movie that you saw, something. It doesn't even have to be a painting; it could be a sculpture or a song. Anyway, month after month, I always get students who would talk about this manga series, this cartoon, and they would talk. The way they talked about it was so amazing and captivating. They said that this cartoon changed my life. I learned so much about friendship and about hope, and about courage through this. And I would be like, what is this called? So finally, I checked it out. And yes, I'm a Naruto nerd, big, huge fanatic of the series. Anywho, I digress. All right, Ethan, you get an A too. The sad thing is I'm not even through the series. I'm still in the early part of the series. It's just an amazing show. I have so much to look forward to. Okay, stop it. Stop getting me distracted. Let's talk about the discussion, shall we? All right. So, like I said, the first discussion. Now, first and foremost, for the 1.3 discussion, as well as anything you turn into me, always proofread your work. Avoid shorthand, and any kind of like lowercase i's in the middle of a sentence. As far as like I went to see, um, I don't know, a concert, that kind of thing. But for this discussion, and for any discussion as well, the thing to remember is there will be a series of questions. And for every discussions, you always want to make sure that you are answering each question. For example, here on page 2 of the discussion instructions, you will see a series of questions. For example, describe your level of comfort delivering presentations. Are you fearful, or are you completely comfortable? Explain why. If you have fears, what would make you feel more at ease? So, and then you go down the line and you answer each and every one. Now, what I like to suggest is, 2 paragraphs usually does the trick. You definitely want to write more than 2 sentences for your first post, because you really can't accurately and effectively answer all of these questions in 2 sentences. So what I see and what usually happens is that the student, who has like generally ballpark roughly 2 paragraphs, that usually covers it. But again, as far as paragraphs and number of paragraphs are concerned, the number one thing that you want to make sure you do is answer each of the questions. And even if you've never done a presentation, you still should talk about, how do you feel about presentations? How do you think you would do in a presentation? What do they seem easy? Does it seem like something that would be hard for you? And so on. Do you think that you'd be good for a recorded presentation, but on a live presentation? Talk to me about it in the discussion. Here's another question. Discuss a public speaker experience you remember. Was it good or bad? I think we have all had a public speaking experience that we can remember. Maybe it was a teacher, um, or maybe we went to a presentation of some kind, right? Here's another question. Discuss a time that you created a visual presentation. PowerPoint keynote. What was your biggest challenge? What did you learn from this experience? Again, even if, just tell me, I never had a visual presentation. I haven't used PowerPoint or anything like that, and so on. And then, last but not least, answer the questions like, what would you like to learn from the class? What do you think you need to improve upon in your presentation skills? Again, just make sure that you really nail down each of those questions. So that's what you do for your first post. And when is the first post due, folks? Yes, Allison said it first. You're all late. I'm kidding. That is correct. Wednesday. So the first post for your discussion is due Wednesday by midnight. Midnight Eastern time. Yes, 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 yes. All right. So the second portion of your discussion assignment is that you're going to write some reply posts. So maybe middle of the week, later on down the week, find a classmate's comment and reply to it. I usually like to say a couple of sentences for each reply. What you don't want to do is you don't want to reply to a classmate and just write something like, "Hey, that's cool," or "Hey, you're wrong," right? So, a couple of sentences for each reply post, and that is due when? When are your reply posts due? Exactly, Sunday. Sunday. So the directions say what, folks? The directions say at least two other comments, two other classmates, sorry. At least two classmates, two reply posts. Now, quick question, folks. What do you think at least means? Like, as far as like if I'm gonna grade you on points and yes, all right. I would say, yeah, that I would say flow. Jeremy, absolutely yes. I'm sorry, I'm missing these comments. Okay, anyway, at least means that you met the requirements, but it's definitely not above and beyond. At least is just at least. So it's kind of like when I'm working with a director and he says I at least want 2 minutes of music for this scene. I'm going to give him more. You better believe I'm going to give him more or her more. Um, so yeah, always be thinking, what? Definitely more than the at least. Cool. Da, 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 da. Excuse me. I'm just reading some of these comments. Now you don't need to have, as far as the public speaking experiences, you don't need to have like maybe you only had one public speaking experience, and that's fine. And if you didn't have any, that's fine too, but definitely tell me about it. And tell me, also answer the question, how do you feel about public speaking? How do you think you would do? What can you tell me about it so far from what you know? Good question, Quinn. Quinn said, "Can I use Office 365?" That's what you meant, right? Office 365. Now, what I would do, and what I tend to recommend whenever you're writing on discussion posts, what I would do is write down what you want to write down in a Word document first, some place that you can save it, and some place that you can check your spelling and proofread it and so on. And then when you're done, you think it's ready to post, copy and paste it and just throw it on the discussion board. So does that answer your question? I mean, some people write directly on the discussion board, and that's fine. However, you never know if the internet's going to cut out on you. You know, technology has a tendency to fail us mortals from time to time. Would you guys agree? So, yeah, I would say save your work as much as you can. Just save your work. Keep it organized because you're starting a program where you're going to be spending a lot of time on your computer. And those of you who already are computer savvy or whatnot, you know how easy it is to lose a file. So stay organized. Label your files as carefully as can be. I definitely a little bit more than assignment because that might mean something to you this week, but in 2 months from now, that file called assignment, you're gonna be like, what? Right? Do, 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 do. Yeah, I would say a few paragraphs, and again, I hate to give a number as far as like I definitely need to see 2 paragraphs, but I what I like to say, and that generally covers it. What you really want to be doing is making sure that you answer all the questions in as much detail as possible. Yeah, definitely be descriptive, be detailed. Cool. But that's your discussion assignment, folks. That's it. So you got your first post due tomorrow night, and then at least 2 reply posts by Sunday midnight. Cool. Does that make sense? I just want to make sure you guys feel pretty good about the discussion assignment before I. Okay. And yeah, if you maybe you're working on the assignment after the session and you have a question, please don't hesitate to email me. Happy to chat. All right. So yeah, the discussion assignment this week's pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. All right. Shield your eyes. Shield. All right. Let's talk about the 1.4 professional presentation analysis. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to say that you can't use PowerPoint. However, I will say that a program like Microsoft Word is going to be a little bit more effective because there's writing, and it's more like an analysis than it is a presentation. So in that sense, Microsoft Word's your best bet. Or if you have Mac and you like Pages, you can use Pages. Or if you hate both of those programs and you want to use something like Google Docs, that's totally fine too. Thanks, Heather. That's me. That is me. No, I'm kidding. Oh wait, you meant this one? Huh. Sorry. No, that's not me. I don't know who that is. Um, but it's a very intense smile, I must say. All right. All right, let's talk about the professional analysis assignment. So here's what you got to do, folks. Here's what you got to do. So first, you will watch a minimum of 3 different TED Talk presentations. So when you fire up your 1.4 instructions, you'll see this link right here, and it'll take you to a website called TED.com. That's where they have all kinds of presentations from any and every topic you can imagine. Find any 3 presentations, a minimum of 3. And then what you do is you provide an analysis for each one. So after you watch each one, you answer questions like, why was the presentation powerful or moving? What did you like about the presentation? Was it the content or was it the speaker? What made it compelling? What made it appealing? How did the speaker draw you in to care about the topic? Right? And In addition to these questions, you want to give a brief description about what it was that you just watched. So you do that 3 times, 3 analysis for each presentation that you watch. Now, the cool thing about TED Talk is there's so many different types of presentations. So anybody in game art studying video games? Ah, excellent. Okay, so for example, if you go to the TED Talk website, you'll see a little search button on the website, and you can type in video games into that field. And what you'll see pop up are a series of presentations on the topics of video games. You'll see all kinds of really great presentations. Now, I will warn you ahead of time, and this goes for all of the presentations. I'll be the first to admit, folks, I've seen hundreds and hundreds of TED Talk presentations, and I've seen some that just blew my mind, brought me to tears, inspired me, and just kind of woke me up. At the same time, I've seen some presentations that were a little on the dull side. Yeah, so all I'm saying is keep an open mind, and even if you watch a presentation that, maybe the presenter was a little on the dull side, that's a great learning experience. That's a great learning experience. You want to jot that down. You want to jot down what you didn't like about it, what you thought they could have done better. So yeah, there's that. Now, as far as any topic goes, those of you who are in music production, you can do the same exact thing. In the search field on the TED Talk website, type in music, and you'll see a ton of presentations on the topic of music. Same thing with film, filmmaking, and so on. Try it out. Now, does it have to be about your field of study? No. If you're in game design and you want to watch a presentation about music, that's totally fine. Totally fine. All right. Okay, so you're going to watch, like I said, 3 different TED Talk presentations. You're going to provide an analysis for each one. So that's 3. And then you're going to kind of create a document. That's why I said that Microsoft Word works better for this type of assignment, because you're going to be writing out an analysis for each presentation that you want. Writing out your opinions on what worked, what didn't, what you liked, what you didn't like, and so on. So PowerPoint is not really too great for that, because you're going to want to write a lot. I don't mean a lot, but you never want to have a big paragraph on any kind of presentation slide. Yes, please, Flo. I'm going to get to that exact question in just a bit. That's a very good question, Flo. Hang on just a bit. I am almost there. All right, so you're going to create a document, and that is where you're going to list out your analysis. The last thing that you're going to do at the very bottom, you can do it at the very bottom of your document, is you're going to make a list of 10 qualities. You're going to come up with your own top 10 qualities, presentation qualities, techniques, and presentation skills that made the presentations you watched inspiring, captivating, creative, and effective. So in other words, after you watch all 3 presentations, list out 10 qualities that you think are very important. Like, it could be anything. It could be maybe a sense of humor, and then explain. Like, you put it this way, who wants to see an example? I'll show you guys an example of what I'm talking about. I will show you a quick and dirty version of a 1.4 assignment example. You guys want to check that out? All right. Okay, now again, this is a quick and dirty sample. It is up to you to make it prettier than this, to make it fancier. This is just what I'm showing you guys is just the meat of what you need what I really need to see on your assignment. So here's my example. Now, I used, as you can see, Microsoft Word. At the very top of your assignment, I need you to write your name. I know you're like, really, Eddie? Hey, you would be surprised how many assignments I get and there's no name on it. Drives me bananas. Now, okay, so let's write our name at the top. Write my name at the top. Today's date, yes. What's today's date, folks? September. I think it's the 26th. All right, so I got my name on there. And now I need you to do the exact title of the assignment. In this case, it's the 1.4 Professional Presentation Analysis. It's underlined there just because it's not plural. Anyway, this is what I should see at the top of your page. Cool? All right, so now, remember, we need to watch 3 different presentations. Now I'm going to list them out. So number 1, here's how I listed it out. Title of presentation. I decided to watch a presentation on TED Talks called Why I Live in Mortal Dread of Public Speaking. That's what I need to see. I need to see the title of whatever presentation you watched. Also, the name of the presenter. In this case, it's Megan Washington. Then I need to see the link. The link that'll take me to that presentation. So this is a pretty awesome presentation, by the way. It's one of my all-time favorites. Why I Live in Mortal Dread of Public Speaking. So this is what I need to see. Title of the presentation, write it out here. Name of the presenter, write it out here. Throw in the link so I can click on it and check it out. And then you need room for your analysis. This is where you're going to write an analysis. You know, what was the presentation about? What did you like about it? You know, what did you hate about it? And so on. Now, remember, we got to do that 3 times. So let's scroll down. Before I forget, I need to have an image, right? I need to have an image or some kind of visual component for this assignment. So I decided to use a picture of Megan Washington that I found on the interwebs, right? And again, this is just an analysis. This is just a quick and dirty analysis. So I only have 1, and this is my at least sample. Can you put more images? Absolutely. Can you create borders to make it look fancier? Absolutely. What I'm showing you guys is just the bare bones of what I need to see. Question, should we label title of presentation name, present, and link as well as what we write? Yes, please. I would definitely write that. It just, you know, then I know exactly what's the title, exactly who's the presenter, and so on. So I got my title of the presentation. I got my name of the presenter. I got the link here. I got my analysis. You know, jot down your paragraph or whatever. Throw in an image or 2. Or like I said, if you want to create a nice border or something, it is up to you. Now, I scroll down to do it again for my second presentation. And again, exactly the same thing. Title of the presentation, jot down whatever it was. Name of the presenter, jot down whoever they were. And then include the link of the presentation. Next, you want to write the paragraph analysis. Tell me what it's about. You know, what did you like about it? What did you not like about it? And so on. And then again, throw in an image in there or 2. Now we got to do it again because there's 3 presentations. So one more time. Title of presentation, name of presenter, link, analysis, your image. Right? Now, last but not least, remember the last thing we do is we include a list of our top 10 qualities, right? I only need 10 qualities for all three. In other words, not 30, just 10. So here's what I have as an example. So for my first top 10 quality, after I watched all three presentations, I watched Megan's and I watched a couple other presentations, and I decided, you know what? I think having a good sense of humor is important. That could be a quality that you decide, but I want you to take it a step further and I want you to explain what you mean by that. Don't just write humor. Give me an example. Like say, okay, Megan Washington was, she told a funny joke at minute 2 and 23 seconds and so on. Props, the use of props, that could be another quality. And explain what you mean by that. I thought it was very effective the way the presenter used a prop, the way J.J. Abrams used his box prop or whatnot. Right? You guys see where I'm going with this? It's kind of like your own personal, like what you feel are important in a presentation. And you go down and do it 10 times. List it out, explain why. Give me an example. Passion, that's a huge one. That is a huge one for me. And I think we can all agree that, effective presentations, they're effective in many times because the presenter really got into what they were saying, right? Does that make sense? So, how many qualities do I need to list out? Do I need 10 or 30? Okay, thanks. Yes, you got it. You got it. 10, absolutely. I need a total of 10. Let me scroll through. So we write the minutes. It would help if like when you're providing an example, that would help. Or if you just simply want to explain, what happened, that would help too. But either way, just provide, an example. Try to be as detailed as possible. Cool. So that is it, folks. This is my quick and dirty example of the 1.4 assignment. So 3 presentations, analyze each one. I need the title of the presentation, name of the presenter, throw in the link where I can watch it, analyze it, give me a picture or two. Be thinking about, how can I make this document look good? What will make this document look good? Because I know this document does not look fancy at all. This is just a quick and dirty example. All right? So it is up to you to make it fancier. Does this make sense? Let me know. How do we feel about this assignment? You guys okay about it? All right. Well, that's good. That is good. So what you want to do as far as submitting any kind of assignment is you always want to submit it using the online platform. When you're on the class page, you'll see a list of your activities. You click on that, on whatever activity it is for the week, like say, it might say 1.3 or 1.4. Click on that link, and there should be an area there where you submit your assignment. Now, again, I used Microsoft Word for this, simply because there's some writing involved. I'm going to have like 3 paragraphs worth, probably. It tends to work a lot better than PowerPoint. Cool. Janelle said this is the layout you want us to do. Now, the only thing is this is the meat of what I want. This is the bare bones. Like I said earlier, it's up to you guys to make it look fancier. It's up to you guys to decide, you know what, I want to put more than just one image in there. Eddie was really lazy with his sample. And what I want to include a border in here to look it fancier, make it look fancier. But this is essentially the bare bones. Cool? Absolutely. I encourage you to. And if you think it's going to make it look, enhance the impact, enhance the appeal of the document, look at it. Think of it this way. Think of it like you're kind of creating a brochure. You don't want a bland brochure, right? You want something to look nice. So having more than one image would definitely not hurt your assignment. All right. That's the 1.4. Oh, you don't have to write Rick Grimes there, please. It's just write your name. I would say it wouldn't hurt to include the sources, like at the very, very, very bottom of the page. Like if you want to include the link where you found an image, wouldn't hurt to get in the habit of that, because you're gonna have to do it anyway with when you're working on next week's assignment and week 3's assignment. So I'm glad, Deidre. That's the thing. A lot of students, they feel that way when, if you're like me, I can read a manual. I can read a manual, and I can but it helps to have somebody kind of walk me through it. Cool. That's it, folks. So we got our 1.3 discussion due tomorrow. The first post is due tomorrow. So this 1.4 assignment is due Sunday, right? I am going to be posting this recording in about an hour. Look for it on the class page. Look for an announcement on our creative presentation class page. That's how I put it up there. And again, if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to email me at etapia@fullsail.com. I am happy to chat. Folks, I'm so sorry we ran over a little bit, actually a lot of it, but I just wanted to make sure I went over those examples with you. Thank you so much for attending. You guys were awesome. Thank you. Get started on those assignments, alrighty? Thank you, folks. I am going to stop yapping and have a wonderful day. Okay? Take care, folks.